working. It's time for a lunch break. Proudly brought to you by Groove Fishing, changing the way you do tackle. Sunline, the best fishing line on the planet. And Spro, makers of the finest tackle available. All right, everybody. Hey, welcome to the lunch break this Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're not working too hard today. If you are one of those out there working, and if you're not and you're like me and you just sit here at the house or whatever, hey, listen, we love you as well. So, a couple guys already. Congrats on the grandson again, Tyler Shelnut and Coleman Jones. Absolute Jeremiah. Let me get to that. Yeah, hey, listen. Well, first of all, again, thank you for watching the lunch break. I got a great topic for you today. We're going to talk about the top 30 bass baits of all time based upon a website that doesn't always put out what I would say is the best list. We'll get to that for sure. And yes, I did have a grandson coming to this world Saturday, 2:13 p.m. Maddox William Pruitt was born, 9 pounds, 9.3 pounds, 21.75 inches long for you kayakers. And so, if you guys know anything about relative weight, I'm wondering what he would be on the relative weight scale. I think he would be what would be considered a healthy bass. But yeah, he's at home now. Mom and Dad did good. What's funny is I told my son, I said, "Listen, it's going to be the greatest day of your life. I don't care if you cry. Just don't pass out. Don't dishonor the family by passing out." I can tell you when my oldest was born, ain't no way to say it, but the way it is, I was about the midwife was right beside me. I was about a foot and a half right there and had some popcorn. And I was just eating away. And so I mean it's a great thing. We ain't built the same, but my son powered through it. And but thank you guys. I'm a papa now. They're gonna remember we talked about they're gonna call me Hefe, boss man. So um and I will try to get to all your comments as well here in a second. But again, thank you to all you guys. Means a lot. Means a lot. Also, too, check out my Sunline swag, dude. Y'all like this? I want to thank Sunline for coming on as a partner of the live well. You saw Groove Fishing, Spro, Sunline right there. Guys, I love it when companies want to be a part of what we're doing, and I use their products. I mean, I like me the hell out of some SC Sniper. And now that I'm associated with them, I got to look at a lot of their other products, and I look forward to it. They're going to give us some stuff to give away, and but it is fantastic, and it just means that we're doing something right here. So again, thank you to Sunline, Spro, of course, Groove Fishing, Digital Sportsman's on everything. One thing, listen, I want to say that with me saying that, listen, big or small don't matter. If you got a company that you want to partner with us, hey, listen, we would love to have you on. One thing you're going to notice a little bit different in 2026, we're going to take our partners and our group page, we're going to start sharing a lot about them. We got a lot of companies that post on the group page. I'm going to kind of thin that out, and I want to give love to the companies that are involved in what we do. So you're going to see that. So if you have a company like that and you want, whether it's the Tuesday, Thursday night live well, the Wednesday night, we moved it, kayak night, or the lunch break, hey, listen, we would love for you to just hit me up and ask. We always can work something out, but we want to help you guys grow as we grow as well. So yeah, I see all you guys right there. I'm trying to do this without my glasses because I'm tired of the glare. And Tyler showing up Minner is probably number one all time. Nope, not gonna be that today. It is not. Real quick, program a note tonight on the live well. We got Georgia Bassmaster Marshall Stamps in the house. And listen, he's been crushing them. I mean, crushing them on big glide baits. And we're going to talk about that, some social content. And he had another run in with a property owner. It just kind of seems to happen to him, but we're going to get his thoughts on that and maybe some advice on how we can handle it. So now, listen, we need to have a lunch break supporting the businesses of the members for sure. I will. 100%. You guys are fam. You help us, we'll help you. So let me explain the list today. Um, I'm telling you, hey, listen, Sunline is legit. That FC Sniper is what I use. Now I don't throw a lot of straight braid. I'll use mono. I'm more of a braid to fluoro guy, but I will tell you this: that FC Sniper is just freaking amazing leader material. That's what I use it mostly for. I mean, it goes all the way up to 30-pound test. You guys can throw it on other things, but just for my fishing, that's what I've used it for. And no complaints, never have had one. So Really love it. But we're gonna try some stuff out, and I'm gonna show you. They're gonna give us some stuff to give away too. So we got that to look forward to. Um, but here's the reason why. What's going on, everybody? Yeah, also too, let's hit this up real quick. This happened yesterday. Dion Hibden passed away. I believe it's 58 or 59, late 50s. Fortunate enough that we had him on the live well, and I was able to interview him. One of there are episodes, guys, that we do where they're really good for you guys as far as information, right? And Dion shared some information on that, but his storytelling ability. Here's how I know you guys. Here's how I know a really good storyteller when we do a live well. In the comment section, people are quiet. The numbers are up, but people are quiet because they're listening. And Dion had that. He was telling some fantastic stories, and it's a shame. He Bassmaster Classic champ. His dad won it, a father son duo to win it. I mean, it just, but he just had a bigger than life personality, and it is a shame that we had to get the news yesterday of him passing away. So, also too, like his mother just passed away a little over a year ago, as well. So that family's had it tough here in the last little over a year and all that. So just kind of keep them in your thoughts and prayers for sure. So I'm glad you brought that up, Patricia Leanne. Now, the Sunline still make the FC night fishing line. I'll have to check. Buddy. I don't know off the top of my head. So here's what we're going to do. Now, listen, there's a website called fishmasters.com. It's a couple of guys from up north. Philadelphia, I believe, last time we checked. They put out the top lakes in Georgia list. You guys might remember we kind of covered it a little bit. And basically that list was tell me you've never fished in Georgia without telling me you've never fished in Georgia. It was awful. And so when I saw that they had a list of the top 30 baits of all time, bass baits of all time, I thought, yeah, I can't wait to see what kind of garbage that they're spewing out with this. Now, I have to admit, I don't necessarily disagree with a lot that's on their list. Now, when we get to the top 5, number 1, I'm good with. Number 2, I'm good with. I think there's some others that should have been ranked down, in the top 10 that were not. But what I want to do is get your opinion on them. So we're going to start on number 30. And I'm just going to work my way down. And I want you in the comment section, yes or no. Is that a top 30 bait of all time? Is that something you fish with? Do you like them? And we'll go from there and just see what you guys think. Now, some of them are very specific baits. The company, the model, the brand is very specific. And then some of them are general terms. They're more like the general line of bait. So the Sunline want to sponsor the Kennesaw fishing team. I don't know. Maybe let me get in good with them, and we might can make that happen. Right? We'll see. But I'm enjoying my time. They sent me another sweatshirt too that is just badass. It is in another hat, but I want to go blue today. You can see the background. I'm in a happy blue mood. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's jump in on it right here. Top 30 baits of all time according to fishmasters.com. And I'm going to have to go back and forth between their website and clicking back on the camera. So number 30, the Storm Wiggle Wart. Okay, the Storm Wiggle Wart. Now, that is a very popular crankbait. Caught a lot of fish. In my opinion, that's too low on the list. Let me see. Jeremiah, is there 30 baits? I only use 10 or so, Tim White. Yeah, I know, right? My best guess for top 5, worm, jig, spinnerbait, crankbait, and some kind of topwater rattle trap. You're going to be surprised. And I bet the Whopper Plopper is way up on their list. Silver Punk, yeah. Was this list made by a finesse guy? I don't know. Have no idea. All right, so I'm guessing a Wiggle Wart is a top 5. No, it's number 30. Now, when it comes to that kind of bait, I mean, the modern versions, to me, the rock crawler, because that's what I throw. Similar style bait does the kind of same things, the DT and the Rapalas and all that. I think a Wiggle Wart should be higher, but they've got it at number 30. Now, number 29, this is going to be interesting because I think this is way too low, even though I don't throw it a lot. I'm starting to throw these things, but I think this is way, 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 way too low based upon listening to you guys talk, and that's a rattle trap. Your lipless crankbait, a rattle trap. Would you think a rattle trap? And unless they say the rattle trap specific, but the lipless crankbait, the whole thing, regardless of company, 29th best bass bait of all time. That just seems very, very low to me. I see Zara Spook, um, Nico Rig. No, Green Pumpkin Cinco isn't in the top five. They really bass fish? You guys will see. If a wacky ain't in the top five, then their list is garbage. You guys will see. I mean, what do you think about a rattle trap? Think of all the baits out there and a rattle trap being 29th. Kendra loves some lipless crank baits for sure. To me, too low. Now here they get into a specific one that I guess they like the company. I can think of better companies that put out a better product in this thing. And I'm okay with it being in this, but at 28, they got the Lunker Hunt Lunker Frog. So they're going with the top water frog for 20th. And guys, listen, I don't know how in the hell they made this list. I'm not going to lie to you a bit. I do not know what their criteria would be at all. Other than, you know what, they want to do some rage bait or clickbait or something. And they said, let's just throw a bunch of stuff down and let's just see what that idiot down there in Georgia is going to say about it. What do you guys think of the frog? Yeah, the original Rattle Trap maybe top 15. Rattle Trap should be in the top 10. Rattle Trap just isn't exciting anymore. Probably low though, and we're thinking all time, right? Chatterbait has to be up there. Spinnerbait, Spro Frog. You'll see as we go. My favorite frog I've ever used is the Live Target frog. It's super soft, so nobody's really talking about the Lunker Hunt Lunker Frog at 28. I mean, I don't. Frog fishing in Georgia is not. If we were on Gunnersville or something like that, I'm sure we'd talk about it a little bit more. But I mean, 28th, whatever on that. Now, here's one that shocked me, guys. Now, it is company specific, especially in North Georgia. Now, we have to consider that these guys are in Philadelphia, right? And so we have to consider the entire country. But I can tell you right now, in North Georgia alone, this is way, way, way too low. And that is a Kitech Fat Swing Impact Swim Bait. All right. The 27th best bait of all time. And you can even even though they put Kitech, you could just say swim bait in general. I mean, think about that. That is so too low, especially of course, we have herring lakes, but we're not the only guys that throw Kitechs. I mean, those baits are thrown around the world. It is the worst smelling bait to ever get out of a package, like a bad Saturday night down in Atlanta. But I'm telling you, 27th of all time, a Kitech Fat Swing Impact swim bait. Just think about how many packs of Kitechs or swim baits you guys use in a given year, especially now, especially right now. I mean, granted, don't get me wrong. You might be throwing a different brand, but just a swim bait in general, I think that's extremely too low. Kitechs have caught endless amounts of fish for me over the years. Kitech Fat Swing should be easy top 10. Top 10 bait for sure. A lot of you guys believe that. Now, Clint goes, I don't think I own any Kitechs anymore, to be honest. And granted, I listen, they put Kitech, Clint, but I think, because if I look at the list, I don't think there's another swim bait on the list. I might be wrong, but I think that's the highest ranked swim bait. So I just take that category in general and think way, way, way too low. All right, let's move on. Now, they're getting specific here. Number 26, a Head and Lucky 13. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's a top water popper style bait. Got the big gaff hooks. I think this is more of a nostalgia choice. It's a vintage top water lure that's been a secret weapon since the early 20th century. So it's just basically a top water plug. I mean, kind of hard to fuss against that one. Again, it's just I'm quickly losing confidence in the list. Too many minnow shakers out there, Tim White said. Yeah. But Tim, it's true. It can't be that low. I used to throw Kitex on Seaguard, then I quit wearing skirts, and now I throw a Cast Prodigy on Sunline. I like it. I like it. I like it. These are obviously smallmouth fishermen. They are from Philadelphia. But if you're gonna do a list of all time, you gotta figure all time. There's gonna be some more on here that's really gonna absolutely blow your mind. Uh, let's jump that. So, I mean, can't say nothing about the Head and Lucky 13. Now, number 25 is the Mepps Comet Minnow. And if you guys don't know what that is, basically it's a rooster tail with a minnow on the back. Bass baits, yeah, I think more guys use these for trout, but they do throw it. I would say that's another nostalgia pick. Really can't do. I mean, can't say it sucks. Can't say it's great. Can't say anybody uses them anymore. But yeah, I mean, whatever. Number 24, a Lunker City Sluggo. Now, is it the start of the Sluggo? No, but I mean that to me, because you're going to see a fluke up on this list, so they definitely are separating it, and they're going by the company. 24 is a Lunker City Sluggo. Um, Minnow's going to be top 5 just for clicks on the list. Nope. Shad Rap. I have several of the old Lucky 13s of my dad's. I bet they'd still catch them, Jeff Brazil. I bet they would. Now, listen, definitely don't doubt they'd catch fish. I think that was a vintage, though. That's one of those, like, feel good. You got to put it on there because we're talking about of all time, right? That Mepps is great trout. See, that's what I was saying. It's a great trout bait. The trap is so low on the list, it's criminal, especially behind a damn inline spinner. I told you guys, like even the Wiggle Wart and the Rattle Trap being below this Mepps, hey, it is what it is. It's their list. We're just going to make fun of it. Let's go on. 23, War Eagle spinnerbait. Now, I don't think there's another spinnerbait per se on the list. Let me scroll on down to make sure I'm not telling you wrong. Yeah, there's not another spinnerbait on the list. Now, they put the War Eagle. Let me double check, go all the way down. Because, yeah, I can't believe that this one's beat by another one that you're going to see down the list. But a spinnerbait. Now, let's talk about all time, guys. You're trying to tell me that the 23rd best bait of all time is a spinnerbait. War Eagle or not, any company spinnerbait. 23rd all time. Just ahead of the Mepps Comet Minnow. So you definitely can tell these guys don't really get out there. Now, they did pick a great brand in War Eagle. Okay, it's a great brand. Hog Collar is better one than that. War Eagle should be top 5. This list should only be 6 cents base, if I were being honest. They only make the best, the most original products. Listen at you. War Eagle, solid for sure. I love the War Eagle spinnerbaits. But do you think it's that low? Right? Do you think it's that low? The 23rd best bait of all time? I do not. And I will tell you why. Because well, no, I won't jump ahead. I need to jump ahead. I want to jump ahead. Number 22, Strike King Red Eye Shad. Okay, you're back to the lipless. I think you could have put the Rattle Trap and the Strike King Red Eye Shad, all these lipless crankbaits in the same thing. Is there that much of a difference maybe to you? But, a lipless is a lipless is a lipless in the general sense of the term. But they put the Strike King Red Eye Shad lipless at number 22. Number 21, the Strike King Rage Tail Craw. Now, I can tell you that Uncle Josh's pork trailers are not on this thing. I can tell you that the Yamamoto Double Tail Grub is not on this thing. I can tell you that there are a lot of options when it comes to a jig trailer. A lot of guys do like I'm looking out here. I'm gonna get back up where a lot of guys do like a Strike King Rage Tail Craw. Are you telling me that that's the 21st best bait of all time? To me, it's an accessory too, right? It's an accessory. I think you should put the jig if you're going to do that, and you should put like jig trailers as a category. Spinnerbait far too low. Exactly. I'd rather listen to that than the goober from Oklahoma on the tank. I'd rather listen to the goober on the tank from Oklahoma than this list. Hey, listen, I'm just trying to just letting you guys know what's out there, letting you guys know what guys think out there. Um, Missile Bait's D Chunk is really good warm water jig trailer for finesse jigs. The Rage Claw is one of the best jig trailers for me. There's certain places it is the only way to get bit on a jig, and the Rage Crawl should be top 10 also. Okay, so listen, a lot of you guys really like the Rage Crawl. Okay, we'll go with that. So you guys think it's too low at 21. Now listen, now number 20 is a sentimental favorite of mine because I grew up on farm ponds. And I will tell you this, in the 80s, I threw this thing a ton. And I've caught every kind of freshwater fish, including catfish on this thing. And so for nostalgia purposes, I think this is too low on the list. Are there better options to catch bass? Yes, but just for nostalgia's sake, number 20 is a beetle spin. Now, every one of you guys that grew up in my day and time back in the day, you probably have thrown a beetle spin a time or two. And if you pay attention each year, you're going to see on social media once or twice a year of somebody holding up a 9 or 10 pound bass caught on a little 16th ounce beetle spin. It just happens every year. That is a nostalgia pick for me. I can go top 20 all time. Um, just because I want to. Now, Richard said this list is irrelevant and troll bait. No doubt, Tail Gruff from Yamamoto. Listen, I agree with you. I agree with you, but I saw it. And I'm like, I wonder if these guys have seen this. I think they would love to hear this list. How does this ranking compare to what you saw as a tackle shop? Well, you got to understand, Stephen, as you know, in a tackle shop in North Georgia, given Lake Lanier, Allatoona, Carter's Lake, all clear, Highland Reservoirs, spotted bass, the reality is you sold more minnow style baits. Um, as far I would say swim baits number one, shaky heads number two, or vice versa. They could go on it. But a lot of shaky heads, a lot of finesse worms, a lot of drop shot worms, the finesse style stuff. Now, if I was a tackle shop in Texas, it'd be totally different. And you might see some of these things. I will say that in the last 3 or 4 years, like spinnerbait and jig sales have gone way down, but your minnows have gone way up. I would say over the last year and a half, your Kitex as a brand went way down, and other minnows, Mooch minnow, other styles, the prodigies, all that, they went way up. Um, Buzz baits kind of stayed consistent, but you had them damn whopper ploppers and stuff in there. So this list does not compare favorably to a North Georgia tackle shop, in my opinion. Beetle spin is a great bluegill bait, no doubt about that. The rooster tail gets overlooked, gets the nod over the beetle spin for me. I agree with that. And the beetle spin does catch fish, it always has. Now, the rooster tail is not on this list. Surprisingly enough, a rooster tail to me, rooster tail's top 5 in the entire world as far as catching multiple species. I don't think you can go wrong with a rooster tail. Everybody's caught something on a rooster tail. Here's one that you guys will like. 19, this might be about right. A Smithwick Rattling Rogue. It's old school. It's old school jerk bait. But, it likes to suspend. It gets brought up when we talk a lot, so I don't have a problem with it being on there. I think that's um, a pretty good bait. Are there better options? I'm sure there are, but a Rattling Rogue is pretty good. I can go with that. Number 18. Maybe a little higher. This might be a little low for it, but Rapala's DT Series crankbait. Now, I say that given the time of year too we're in. And again, we're very biased towards North Georgia, right? But right now, guys are throwing pretty much 1 or 2 crankbaits around here. Now, you may throw a little one different here, but the majority of the crankbaits being thrown right now in North Georgia is a Spro rock crawler or a Rapala DT. 6, 8, 10, whatever, it doesn't matter. So again, if we're being biased, state of Georgia, that's probably too low because that is a staple in the wintertime. And I mean year round for sure. But in the wintertime, that's when we talk about it a lot on the show. That's when guys start bringing it up. And the rock crawlers as well. Those two type of baits, we talk about them starting in about November every year, and we'll talk about them all the way up till right before the spawn. Bet there's no scrounger on this list. Nope. No scrounger. And I don't know that I would put a scrounger in the top 20, at least for down here. In other places, maybe. Yeah, no rooster tail at all on this list. Pretty surprising to me. but that is what it is. So 18, we got the Rapala DT. Now, again, we're being very, very company specific here on their list. Number 17 is a Norman DD22. Now, I mean, deep diving crankbaits, is that the industry standard? Um, maybe. Yeah, I don't throw a lot of deep diving crankbaits, so you guys will have to say if that's too high or too low. But very specific, Norman DD22, and these, we had the Smithwick, Rapala. Now we got a Norman. These next few are kind of company specific. What do you guys think about that? Now, this one right here, I don't think belongs on the list. Um, an Arbogast hula popper. Now, some of you guys are going to say, no, listen. Now, the pop-in style bait, yes. A hula popper, I don't know that it's one of the greatest of all time. It's been around forever. So to me, it's more of a vintage. That's a vintage vote for you guys. The deep little end is better. The deep little end is better than the DD22. As soon as you listed the Ward at number 30, I thought they better not violate the DT like that. And look at what they did. Yeah. Fritz DT. I find a lot of Berkeley and Strike King crankbaits at Lanier. Yeah, and they throw them to, yeah, there's a lot. And Berkeley for sure because they're cheap. I mean, I'm not knocking Berkeley, the price point. A lot of guys will buy Berkeley. Norman is definitely more popular in the north and the hula popper. So, but I mean, listen, you go to Walmart right now, and let's just be honest. You go to Walmart right now, and you will find that hula popper in a 3-piece little kit for about $6 and all that. It's just been around forever. Will it catch fish? Yes. Is it one of the greatest baits of all time? Not in my opinion. No, I'm not that old, but I've been fishing since the 80s. I might have thrown a hula popper. That's particular style of popper 10 times in my life. Not that damn great to me. Number 15. I think this is entirely way too low. Let me. Not there yet, Patricia. I've caught 2 fish on Lanier with a hula popper. The Spro E-Pop, I probably caught 100 plus. The Spro E-Pop is by far superior. Again, I think that's a vintage thing. And also, too, I think Spro is just starting to get out there. Like down here in the South, it's a staple. I think it will expand as it gets on out. Chug Bug Reign Supreme. Don't sleep on the Norman Deep Little End. Not sure about the greatest of all time, though, Clay says. And again, this is all what they think, right? The Norman Deep Little End is a great sub to the Rock Crawler in the DT series. Yeah. I used to catch a ton from the bank with a hula popper on Chateau when I was younger, Tracy Coker. Yeah, Tracy, I'm not saying that they don't catch fish. I just don't know that it's one of the top 30 baits of all time. Now, number 15 to me, way, 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 way too low. To me, I would have this in my top 5. I would have this in my top 5. Now, granted, you can't throw it year round. You can't. Well, you can if you want. It's not company specific. It's the genre specific, the buzz bait. Now, we ain't talking about whopper ploppers and all that stuff. We're talking specifically a straight old school buzz bait. To me, a buzz bait is something that everybody throws, or at least did throw at some point in their life. A lot of people still do it, even on lakes that aren't buzz bait lakes. Guys are throwing them. It doesn't matter. 15th best bait of all time. It's what they've got it down. I think that's too low. It would be in my top 5. And you guys are welcome to put your top 5 down. What do you think about a buzz bait being down that far? The hula popper is way outdated. I like drop. Good grief, I can't even say it. I like to drop shot the hula popper. I bet you do. Grandkid stuffed on my Spro McStick on Saturday. So upset. Caught a lot of fish with it. What color did you have there, Clayton? Which one did he miss? Buzzbait is number 1 year round. It would be my top 5 for sure. Top 5 for sure. Throwing a buzzbait more this year for sure. Tyler says you can catch them 365 days a year on a buzzbait. And Farmer says I've lost all confidence in this list. Hell, I lost that a long time ago. Buzzbait should definitely be top 5. Buzzbait is top 10 minimum, top 2 for me. So again, I think we can say we're in agreement that a buzzbait on this list is too low. At worst, top 10. At worst, top 10. Let's move on. Now that I got you guys' attention. See, this one right here, this would not be in my top 30 at all. Maybe yours, not mine. I don't even know if I would have this in my top 50. But these guys in Philadelphia say the Gary Yamamoto Flapping Hog. The Flapping Hog from Gary Yamamoto is the 14th best bait. You're telling me that's better than a DT crankbait, that's better than buzz baits, that's better than a spinner bait, is a Gary Yamamoto Flapping Hog? I strongly disagree. In fact, I can tell you right now, I've seen those things. I don't think I've ever put one of them on a hook, on a jig, on anything. I don't think I've ever thrown one of those. I think this list is clickbait. 100%. You think they had 20 index cards with names on them and threw them downstairs to rank them, Doc? Listen, I think if I took my newborn grandson and put 30 index cards and just let him slobber on them, and we just went which one he slobbers, we'll put that at 30th and just work our way down, his list would be every bit as good as this one. There is no way in the world the Gary Yamamoto Flapping Hog is the 14th best bass bait ever invented. Not saying it's not good. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings if some of you guys throw them. Top 15 all time at number 14? No way in hell. Sorry. The Flapping Hog is juiced for punching, and the closet sea riggers love it too. you sea riggers come out of the closet. Jeff Brazilla's laughing at this list. I've only caught 1 to 2 spots throwing a Texas rig on. Oh, he did try the Texas rig. He caught a couple of them. One 2.8 pound spot throwing a Texas rig on Sunday. Only out for 3 hours. It was my birthday and it was kind of windy. Listen, I mean, if you guys went fishing this past weekend, God bless you. Locally around here, there's 3 weather gauges around here, just in my area, and we almost had 6 inches of rain from Friday night into Saturday when it moved out Saturday. 6 inches of rain. And then Sunday, it was cold and windy. It was not just a great day for fishing. I'd throw the Yamamoto Cowboy before the Flapping Hog. The Flapping Hog doesn't really do as well as the Rage Bug, but the Yamamoto Twin Tail is awesome. See, now I agree with you. The Twin Tail is not even on this. Now, Stephen Sturgeon, you asked about a tackle shop, and you asked about jig. I mean, you asked, how does this list compare? Twin Tail grubs, 10-1 for jig trailers around here. Whether it was Yamamoto, whether it was Zoom, it didn't matter. Twin Tail outsells everything. I didn't even have these things in my store. I didn't have a lot in the store, but I definitely didn't have these things. All right, let's move on. Again, back to the Walmart specials. Booyah Pad Crasher Frog at number 13. I mean, nope, not for me. Not this. If they're going brand, I don't know. Maybe you frog guys like that. It's a topwater titan in the bass game. That's the way they describe it. Do you think the Booyah Pad Crasher Frog is worthy of a number 13 ranking? For those of you that throw frogs, I don't know. I don't throw frogs a lot. Yeah, the BPT is going to be cold. Chat GPT list for sure. Fishing for Gatonia. Oh, fishing info. Hell, I don't even know what to say. I ain't got my glasses on. I think I'm close. That should be lower. Now, when you say lower, Messick, are you saying like top 10? Are you going up? When you say lower, are you saying lower going up as in like a lower number or lower on down the list? I don't know. Again, biased on where we live, right? Now, here is a brand specific, but I think the bait in general, if we just went general. Number 12 is a Booyah Boo Jig. I sure as hell don't think a Booyah Boo Jig is the best jig on the market. I don't think it's even close, but let's just take jigs in general. No way in the world is it not. To me, it should be top 10 because there are a few up here above it that we're getting ready to get into that there's no way they're above a jig. There's no way they're above a jig. So even though they went Booyah Boo Jig, whatever, there's a lot of Strike King and there's just some brands on here that I think maybe these guys are sponsored by. I don't know. Got to throw them in there. Jig should be top 10 for me, even though I absolutely suck at throwing them. Okay, I suck at throwing them. Okay, he was talking about the putting the bait down, like number 30. Robert Brents, frogs are cool, but don't catch as many as other baits. I switch up for different presentation. Depends on what the fish want on any given day. Fair enough. Messick said out of top 30, they should be 31. Farmer's three baits would be square bill, chatterbait, and jig for the water coming up so quickly. For sure. I bet you at Carter's, I wonder how high Carter's got up. Now I know Farmer always talked about being able to go flip a jig and stuff around the picnic tables and pine trees when we get a big flooding rain like we got Saturday. So maybe the spots were up there. The pad crashers, meh. Um, pad crasher not 13, but in the top 30. Now Richard says jigs in general top 3 of all time. Okay, I mean, and I couldn't argue that one. Jig in general should be minimum top 10. Can't argue that. I'm offended that the jig is that low. They should ban jigs instead of scope because I don't know how to fish one. Listen, I tie them. I'm tying jigs today as soon as we get off. Finishing up orders. I'm way behind. I stink at it, but I still would vote the jig top 10, top 5. But yeah, again, I don't want to say who made this list. Now, here's one right here. This is number 11, guys. Now, this could very easily be number 1 in a lot of your lists. Could very easily be number 1. Now, they gave a specific color. Let's just talk about the bait in general, okay? Number 11 is the classic black plastic worm. Curly-tailed worm. Kind of like your old monster, your culprit, those like that. They've got that at number 11. To me, that's too low. Now, there is another soft plastic option that's ranked above it that I'm okay with, but you're telling me in the history of bass fishing, and don't just take tournaments, take guys fishing farm ponds, rivers, you name it, fun fishing. You're telling me that the old school curly tail plastic worm is only the 11th best bait ever invented for bass. How many of us grew up? That's what we learned to fish with. Let's see, shaky head, buzzbait, spinnerbait, and some type of minnow bait for my top 5. My top 3 would personally be a chatterbait, DT crankbait, and a flatworm. Fair enough. Let's see. I would round out the top 5 with a Senko and a swim, but we're going to get that top 5. How do you think the list would be different if it went big fish versus mini fish? Interesting question. How would my top 5, let's just say top 5 be big fish? I'd put a jig up there. There's a couple baits in the top 10 that are going to be there, but a plastic worm, like if you're just trying to catch old largemouth, big old largemouth across all lakes in the United States, can you beat an old monster, a Zoom old monster, or a similar style worm? Some of the biggest bass I've seen caught with my eyes, much less on social media, but with my eyes, they've come on an old monster, plum colored to be exact. Worm out catches any other if you're not going for just size. I agree with that. Ribbon tail worms are ranked what? Yeah, 11th. 11th. The jig is a good all around bait from rough cover to rocks, from shallow to deep. They'll hit it 100%. Farmer said, wow, not even in the top 10. Man, tell them people to log off and throw away their computer. I thought you guys might be entertained with this. Now we're hitting the top 10. That's 11th. Top 10. Nostalgia bait. At number 10, the Smithwick Devil's Horse. Now, not as popular as it used to be. Definitely a vintage pick, but still catches fish. Could that be in your top 10? I don't know that I can argue against that. It wouldn't be in my top 10, but I don't think I could. If somebody made a list and they said, hey, listen, one of the top 10 baits ever is a Smithwick's Devil's Horse, or any style prop bait like that, I don't really know that you could go against that. I mean, you could argue against it, but it would be one of those, meh, I could see that. Jig is not a numbers bait. Big Fish is number one, Cinco number two, Jig is number one, Cinco number two. Those guys were stoned making this list. I know I'd like to have some of what they were having. Um, but I mean, I can live with that. I can live with that. Number nine, and this is brand specific, and in North Georgia, given its history, a lot of guys would probably put this in their top 10. A Megabass Vision 110 jerkbait. Jerkbait in general, I know there's guys like other ones, the McDart, McStick from Spro. You got the Stunner from Berkeley. A lot of, Arc actually makes some really good jerkbaits. So the jerkbait in general being top 10, yeah. Megabass Vision 110, probably you could go with that. I don't think that's really awful. I know a lot of guys complain about their hooks, but as far as the bait and action, I don't think you really can go with that. Now the real Neil at the Cross fishing. Oh, okay, I like that name, Neil at the Cross. 8.5-pound bucket mouth on my wall came from a devil's horse. I can believe that. Top three for sure. We're talking about the Megabass. Let's see. That is the standard in jerkbait fishing. Vision 110, top 10 for sure. Vision 110 is a top 10 for me for sure. So, a lot of you guys, good grief, people calling me during the show. A lot of you guys, and I don't even want to answer that number, so we're going to close them off right there. But a lot of you guys agree with that. And I kind of figured that would be one. I don't disagree with that one. Let's go on down to number 8. Now, if ever I wanted to take a guy making a top 10 list and walk up to him and with an open hand, wow, it is with their choice for number 8. You guys know what's coming. At number 8 is a damn whopper plopper. Now, there ain't no way in the world, if I'm making a list, that a whopper plopper is going to be above a buzzbait. Sorry. I know guys catch fish on them. I know guys like them. Some of you guys will have it as top 10. I can't stand that freaking bait. But even if I liked it, I wouldn't put it top 10 over a buzz bait. That's just me. That's just me. Let's see what you guys think about that one. You guys are still talking about the Vision 110. Let's see. The Vision 110 earned that. So, yeah, Vision 110 did. I just caught a ton on the Vision 110 Junior on Allatoona last weekend. The plopper, old Coleman Jones said, yeah, listen, I know you guys love them, but as a whopper plopper, when it comes to all-time baits, is it better than a buzz bait? Do you really think so? Ain't no way a whopper plopper is above a buzz bait. According to the guys in Philadelphia, one of my 10.5s came on a Bango lure. Now, I remember that, and there's a bait that's going to come up that's very similar. We'll talk about that. Now, the whopper plopper catches them. Top 10 for sure, but the buzz bait should be just above it. Okay, I can live with that one. I can live with that. I still throw a devil's horse on occasion. The prop wash is very subtle on those. Very good topwater bait at times. Jeff, I agree. Tracy goes, are you sure you're not a closet plopper lover? No, bro. I might be many things, but I am not a closet whopper plopper or Chapo lover at all. Banjo Minnow number 1. And Neil the Cross, no way. That's what they got. I'm sorry. I just think a buzz bait's a better all-around bait. That's just me. I can dig this one. I can go with this. Number 7, Zoom Super Fluke. It's a staple. Catches fish all over the country. Catches fish year-round. You can fish them on top, fish them deep. Even all the other brands' version of a fluke. The bait itself is to me, I could go top 10 with that easy. A lot of you guys might have it top 5. I would think very few of you have it way on down the list. Some of you might not like throwing it, so you might have the fluke down. But I still would imagine even on a guy that doesn't really like it, you still got it top 15, top 20. They got it at number 7. I can agree with this one. What do they say? Blind hog finds an acorn every once in a while. I think the guys in Philly there at fishmasters.com, this one I can do. Let's see, Closet P. Rigger, all you guys are funny. Whopper Plopper was killing them for 5 years and has steadily declined since. These brothers need to get back to, on the Mayflower and go back to Britain. The hell with the Whopper Plopper. I know it was the deal when it came out, but I hate them. Danny is not a closet popper. All right, you plopper. You guys stop that. Don't start spreading rumors. Devil's Horse is amazing around brim beds. Shh, don't tell anybody that. Um, I thought of you when my guide pulled out a Whopper Plopper and I couldn't get a dang thing to run right. I would say a buzz bait should always be up from a plopper. I agree with you. But here we go. Fluke is valid. Super Fluke is top 5 for sure. Paddle tail or swim tail? Well, this is just a straight tail. I'm excited for Fluke season. Super Fluke is definitely great. Now, see, that's the thing. The Fluke can be fished. What's up, Doug? The Fluke can be fished across the country. Guys, throw it on a ball head jig down deep in timber on the near. Throw it on top. You can put it. I know guys that put them on A rigs. I don't know why you put a fluke on A rig, but a lot of guys do. But you can get the smaller flukes and all that. Now you're right, Eric. The Whopper Plopper is a great tool to get kids into fishing. So is a damn tube of crickets and a Zebco 33. And I would give them that before I'd give them a Whopper Plopper. But I do agree with you. And I was just joking, but kind of. But when a kid would come into the shop and they were just getting into bass fishing, I would actually give them a Whopper Plopper or a Choppo. I gave them a Choppo more often just because it didn't sink and they could see the action of the bait. And if they ever got hit, it would be like an explosion. So, yes, I mean, you're 100% correct on that. The first one I agree with on this entire list, Farmer says, the new Rapala claptail is going to put the Whopper Plopper to bed, though. But I do. The jelly worms, not on there. From There's a time to throw a plopper. Size matters, Robert. I can't disagree with you on that. I just don't think it should be ranked all time above a buzzbait. Number 6. Now, this is one I disagree with, and this one a lot of you guys will agree with. Z-Man Chatterbait at number 6. Chatterbait, bladed jigs in general, but they got the Z-Man. The only reason why I would disagree with this is because I like a spinnerbait better. I'm old school. I'm still a spinnerbait guy. Chatterbaits have their place. And a lot of guys in the comment section, when I'm looking at their top threes and stuff like that, I've seen a chatterbait in there. So I know that are you live on TikTok? No, I'm not. No, because every time I do restreaming and I do TikTok, it cuts off after about 10 minutes. So I quit doing the lives. At least this version. We're going to bring back some TikTok lives, but it's going to be on a different platform. Let's see. The cricket tube doesn't get a top water blow. Yeah, that's what I was saying for sure. But I'm of the old school that if you put a chatterbait here and you put a spinnerbait here and you say pick one to throw for the rest of your life, I'm gonna pick a spinnerbait. Could that just be that I'm old fart? Maybe. I've caught more fish on a spinnerbait than I have a chatterbait. I know a lot of guys will say you can throw the chatterbait, rip it through. Yeah, okay. I can't argue with it. But I just like a spinnerbait. That's just me. I mean, if you're gonna put a chatterbait at 6, I think a spinnerbait should be 5. I've caught more on a plopper, but I feel like the bigger fish hit the buzzbait, less dinks. Spinnerbait should be over the chatterbait. I'll throw a spinnerbait over a chatterbait every day and twice on Sunday, Jeff Brazil said. The Evergreen Jackhammer, it's great. Shouldn't cost as much as it does, but it's great. Chatterbait's in Kendra's top 3. Coleman says, I like a spinnerbait as well. Chatterbait is great. Spinnerbait for me outperforms it lately, though. Jeremiah, jackhammer or nothing. I'm telling you what, listen, that Spro cover jumper, give it a try. Because the one thing about the jackhammer everybody talks about is like the second you start reeling it, you can feel it. You can do the same thing with that Spro. Don't get me wrong, I've thrown both. I'm just saying one's a little bit cheaper than the other price-wise, and you get the same exact action. I'm just saying. Chatters get their attention, but if they are lethargic, they don't want to chase it or anything, for sure. Spinnerbait looks more, and I think you got some more going there with that comment right there. I'd pick the spinnerbait because it can come through cover better than the chatterbait, but I love a jackhammer. Hey, listen, jackhammer's a standard, right? That's I mean, it is the standard right now. So I guess everybody's okay though with it being number 6. Yeah. Now here's a top 5. And I'm gonna tell you that the next I agree with number 1. I'm good with number 1, I'm good with number 2. 3's okay, 4 I would not put there, 5 I would not put there, but some of you might. Number 5 is a vintage pick. Again, we're talking about the top 30 bass baits of all time. At number 5, they got a jitterbug. Kevin Thornton loves throwing a jitterbug at night. It's caught bass for decades and decades and decades. You could argue that if you were doing a Hall of Fame, it definitely belongs. Is it number 5 though of all time? I don't think so. I think there are far more deserving baits above it. I think it is definitely top 30 bait of all time. I do not think it's top 5. Have I thrown it? Yes. Have I caught a bunch of fish on it? Yeah, back in the 80s when I was in the farm ponds, I've caught few, but there's another one above it on the list that I caught more with in those same farm ponds. Um, but I know Thornton likes it, and he likes throwing them at night. I know musky guys like it. So we also too right now, we're talking bass baits. Coleman says an effing jitterbug. No way, said War Eagle the best. Hey, listen, I'm just a messenger, guys. I'm just a messenger. Boo. Now you booing me because I don't like the jitterbug, or you booing because it's on the list? I just think jitterbug sounds kind of like a plopper to me. Good. That's a good take. That's a good take. A jitterbug over a buzz bait is wild. I mean, if I'm being honest, and I hate the damn things, but a jitterbug over a whopper plopper is wild to me. Try and catch on a jitterbug on Lanier. Yeah, you ain't gonna do that. Definitely a Yankee list. Top 5 of jitterbug is bullshit. That's what old Farmer says. You can type it out, Farmer. It's okay. Ain't nobody gonna get on to you for typing it out here. I own the show. No, I'm booing the list. Okay, good. Yeah. See, I saw that. I'm like, great bait, great bait. But it's kind of like putting the old, like that belongs, like Hall of Fame for baseball. You got the guys that don't make it, right? And then they got to go to the Veterans Committee. You got your first ballot Hall of Famers. You got your guys to get in on the second, third year of being eligible. And then you got guys that don't make it for X amount of time, and then they go to the Veterans Committee. The jitterbug should be to the Veterans Committee. Okay, maybe second, third ballot. That's just me. Where is this list at? If you go to, I don't want to give these guys any more love than I should, but it's fishmasters.com. And they got lists like the top 30 lakes in Kentucky. Well, hell, I didn't even know Kentucky had 30 lakes, but they got it, apparently. If you're very familiar with Georgia lakes, dig in there and find their top 30 lakes for Georgia. Like I said earlier, tell me you've never fished Georgia without telling me you've never fished Georgia. That's the top 30 best bass lakes in Georgia. It's ridiculously dumb. Y'all think this list is kind of whack? You got to read that one. Number 4. Again, to me, great bait. Not top 5 of all time. The Strike King KVD square bill crankbait. Y'all notice there's a lot of damn Strike King in this list? Are you telling me Strike King's KVD square bill crankbait is the number 4 best bass bait of all time? Top 30 maybe? Let's just go square bill in general. Again, these guys are really specific with their companies. I would not have a square bill in my top 5. Maybe because I don't throw them near as much. I should. I know I should. I like how this. The Strike King KVD square bill crankbait is a straight up banger in the bass world. Designed with Kevin Van Dam's clutch DNA. Okay. I mean, can't not KVD. I mean, but is it top 5? I don't know. Jitterbug is one of the greatest ever, but only because of legacy. Been catching them for like 60 to 70 years. That's right. Maybe the guy's 90 making this list and hasn't fished in the last 15 years. No, actually, it's a father's son, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to read more into it again. Yeah, the top 30 lakes for Georgia, according to them, 1 through 30. Cedar Creek's on there. It's crazy. I'm not trying to be mean, but I am questioning their name. And he's talking about fishingmasters.com. Square bill, maybe top 12. fair enough, Mike. I can get that. Um, Philly, yeah, the people in Philadelphia did boo Santa Claus and throw snowballs at him and all that stuff. So, yeah, we got to take it with a grain of salt, right? Um, I love the KVD 1.5, but it is not top five. A square bill is fair to say in the top 10. Fair enough. I don't throw in that much, but it will catch them all year, Clay Cochran says. Yeah, so I mean, like I can go with that, but definitely not top five for me. Now, this one again is another nostalgia thing. I think this is one of the better ones, top 15 for sure. Um, it's a spook, the Hedden Zara spook. Now, let's just I know Hedden Zara spook, that's brand specific. I fished that joker in farm ponds growing up and used to get blowed up on it all the time. Guys can throw the top water on there. Other than it comes with the gaff hooks now that you can catch cobia and all that saltwater stuff on. They need to really kind of mess with the hooks a little bit on those things. But the spook style baits on Lanier, everybody throws them for top water. You can either throw the popper or you're throwing a walker, right? Walking the dog is synonymous with, the spook. I can't necessarily say it ain't top five all time. I would say more top 10. That style bait. How many of you guys still throw the actual Hedden spook? I would never boo you, Danny. Most fun I have all day. Well, thank you. One knocker for me, Robert says. I agree with that. Let's see. I like the KVD jerk baits more than I do the crankbaits. But would you put a Hedden spook at number 3 all time? Now again, you're going to get a nostalgia vote. Okay, you definitely gonna get the nostalgia vote right there, but also too, companies have their own brand of the spook style walk the dog bait now, right? So it was so good that it inspired a whole, every company has one. I caught a lot of fish on 'em back in the day. I would put the spook in the top 5 just because the style has stayed the same throughout the companies that makes them. Again, from what I'm saying, yeah, it's that walk the dog, right? And even your like, there are other baits that are not spook acts, spooks per se, that style bait, that still some of your pencil poppers, you can walk the dog. It's the action. Think of that godforsaken Z-Man Hellraiser. At the end of the day, what does it do? It walks the dog. So name my new dog Zara, and I would not say top 5. The spook has put some big largemouth in my boat back in the day. Doug said, yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Which is why I could go top 10. Now, I'm gonna take a second here before we get to number 1 and number 2, and I want you guys, don't go on their website and look. I'm gonna give you a minute. I want you to do 2 things. First of all, in the comment section, I want you to put what's the craziest bait that's on this list, and I also want you to put me your 2 guesses for number 1 and number 2. Clay Cochran says, I think the spook is still the number 1 walking style bait. Can't argue with that. I still fish it, but more often I do the puppy. What do you guys think? I already had one of these out. What do you guys think? Okay, Coleman's got the Cinco number. Coleman, it was a 3-part question, dude. This is like you got y'all answering like I did, like Kevin. Like this is Kevin's question tonight. 3 parts. What's the craziest thing on this list so far? 30 to number 3. And what is number 1 and number 2 in your mind? Eric says the spook is the reason I love Lanier so much. First time I ever went there, I smashed him on it, was hooked. And Tracy Coker says that damn Hellraiser works. It probably does, Tracy. I know you like it. I ain't caught a fish on it. But I'll be honest, if I'm being fair, I don't give it the time. Okay? I don't give it the time. But I'm gonna see you guys. Anyone use the Booyah or Boyu? I don't know. Number 1 walking bait now is that dang evergreen shower blow. Yeah. But but still, where did it come from? Spook. I'm waiting to see you guys' answers. You guys are letting me down. I want to know what you guys think is number 1, number 2. Cinco number 1, jig for number 2. Cinco number 1, pop R number 2. Atlanta Outdoors, it's not the jig because the jig was 12. We covered that at 12. Cinco number 2, Zoom trick worm number 1, the rattle trap in the high 20s. Coming in to the chat late, James says, but the Texas rig worm and the skirted jig for 1 and 2. How you doing that? How you doing? Craziest bait on the list is the beetle spin. Top 2 baits better be a jig and a Cinco. It ain't the jig. Remember, the jig was 12. I told you when we did 12 and it was the Booyah jig, I said, that's the highest jig. So we did jigs all, and that's why I said jig should be top 5. I'll go number 2 is a shaky head with a trick worm. Cinco number one, glide bait number two. Jitterbug is the worst one on the list. The evergreen is a spitting, popping walking bait. The red eye shad is better than a lot of the list to me. Texas rig worm number one. All right, guys. Well, let's just jump on number two. Let's hit number two real quick. And this is a sentimental favorite for me. And this is why I can agree with it. But you guys probably won't. At number two, the Rapala original floating minnow. The original. It says it's straight up the goat in the bass game, dropping vintage vibes with modern flex. I want to listen. Remember somebody said the Bango lure earlier in the comment section? I said there's one kind of like that. This was my original topwater. Are there others that outproduce it now? Yeah. Should it be number two? I don't know. But the number two bait of all time, the Rapala floating minnow. I mean, for nostalgia, yes. For me, where I grew up, yes. But for most people, I don't know. Farmer's still butthurt about the jig being low. The Brokeback Rapala is better. Did you name the Rapala, John G? The Rapala? I don't even know how the hell to say it right. Maybe everybody says right. That should be number 29. I would think Cinco or Trap would be number one on the list. The worst is the Whopper Plopper. Well, we already covered the Trap. The Trap was number 24, Clay. And then they had the red eyes, lipless. So there was two. The Rattle Trap per se was number 24, and then around 12 or 13 was the red eye. To be fair, the only thing catching more fish than the original floater is a stick of dynamite. See, that's what I'm saying. That there have been millions and millions of fish and bass caught on a floating Rapala. Does the original still do popular? We found several this year. The original, a lot of people don't throw it because its balsa is so light. And so that's why the modern topwater baits are so much better. But Rapala, however you want to say it, they made some adjustments on it, added some kind of weight that would still not mess with it, and you can throw it farther now. So with that, yes, you guys have guessed it. The number one bass bait of all time, according to fishmasters.com, the Yamamoto Cinco. Now, I can't necessarily disagree with that one. I'm a wacky rig. I throw the wacky rig, but you can throw it on shaky head. You can throw it Nico. You can cut it off, make it into a net head. You can cut it off, put it as a jig trailer. You can do a lot of things with a Cinco. It's hot now, but overall time, you could go with the curly tail. I think that 1-2 would be the worm. What do you guys think about that? That the Cinco is the number one bait of all time. That's the one thing I really can't on this entire list. I can't really argue with that. I that doesn't surprise me. Fuzzy Dice will be there in time. It should actually be a red wiggler worm, yeah, for sure. But a ton of fish caught on a Rapala floating minnow. There has. Absolute worst is the double Whopper Flopper for sure. I'm changing my answer. Number one is the old cranking phone. There is a guy that lives up the road from me that has one, and my grandfather had one of those. I've seen that thing in action. Jitterbug is rough. True Grit Tackle Jig number one. Thank you. Cast Nova number two. A live red wiggler. Nathan, you are late today. Now, Patricia Leanne Shaw says, I've never bought number one. You've never bought a Cinco. Really? That's interesting. I disagree. You see more Zoom trick worms brought from the stores. And that was one thing I wrote down right here in my notes. You did not see a floating worm / trick worm anywhere on that list. And I want to know why. The Zoom trick worm, you can do everything that you can do with a Cinco, you can do with that. Cinco's probably the best. Adam W. Fishing. I don't think anybody can necessarily disagree. A Cherry Twizzler. I don't think you can necessarily disagree with it being on the list at number one or even top five. But I was very surprised, Farmer, with it. Well, first of all, I was not surprised because I knew who made the damn list. And I knew before I even Moist Donut, Rooster Tail is number one. It should be if you go worldwide. When I saw the list, it popped up on my Facebook feed yesterday. And I said, oh, there's my topic for the show for the lunch break. And I didn't know what I was going to get. And I disagree with about 75% of that list, at least in the order. But I can't, it's hard to go against the Cinco being number one, but I was very, very, very surprised that the trick worm, the finesse style, mag finesse, any of those style worms, the Zoom trick worm, that was not on the list. Um, Other than the Fluke, that was the only Zoom product that was on there. A lot of Strike King products, Arbogast, whatever. Sluggo was better. Patricia Leanne Shaw said, okay. Jeremiah goes, never bought a Cinco? Give me your fishing license. We got to ban you now. The Sabiki rig, number one. Um, Eric says, no trick worm over a curly tail worm is a travesty. And Farmer said, all I've done right now is to made his blood pressure boil. Do y'all think the Cinco will ever die out? No. And here's why. I think the Cinco is the perfect. It's the perfect. I mean, you can get them in different sizes. There's so many things that you can do with a Cinco. Dead stick it, put it on a shake it, put it on Texas rig, pull it on the Carolina rig, weightless, do it a wacky worm, different things. Nico, there's so many different things you can do, and the profile is kind of beefy, juicy like that. I don't think it ever go, I don't think it ever go out of away. There'll be something that comes in, might pull a little bit of the steam from it for a little while, but at the end of the day, other than Patricia Lee Henshaw, everybody's throwing a Cinco, right? The Cinco's heavy enough; it can be thrown good without any weight for sure. I'm surprised no trick worm or like that was on the list. Exactly. A ball head minnow deserves to be top 30. Love it or hate it, everything in the lake eats a minnow. Now they had the Kitex, so I mean you could throw that on a ball head, but I agree with you. Um, but yeah, that was I agree with Eric on a real note. Minnow won't be going away anytime soon, and it's not. Um, Even if you don't have forward facing sonar, you can put them things on. You can put them on underspins and just blind cast. You can do that. I've done it over at Latham 100 times. Um, or those style baits are there for sure. They're going to be there. You can put them on a rig, you name it. So yeah, I don't think they're going anywhere now. Um, it's interesting. So like, if I gave the assignment, the weightless trick worm and pre-spawn is so underrated. It's about it won't be long. We'll be doing those again. Still don't understand methylate. I don't understand that color, but they hit it. Stinko is what he calls it. Listen at you. Like, what's interesting is if I told every one of you that I wanted you to go home tonight, and you guys won't do it because you're lazier than hell. You'll say you'll do it, but you never do it. But I told you, give me your top 10 baits of all time. I can guarantee you, if you're 30 and under, for sure, the minnow's going to be on it. No doubt. And a lot of people older than that, but I guarantee you it's on that. It's been hot since '03, Danny. That is the best bait. You talking about the minnow or the Cinco? No, Cinco. Hey, listen, I can't argue. I throw it. I throw a Cinco more than I throw anything. Bubblegum and methylate. Again, I told the story, I don't understand bubblegum either. But damn if they don't hit it. It's just I always look at a bait, especially plastics in the water, and I'm like, what does that look like to a fish? What does the color morning dawn look like in the fish world? I don't know. Um, what does the color methylate represent? Or even bubblegum. Now, granted, we know fish don't see exactly the way we see, so it's going to look a little bit different. But still, what do they represent underwater? Yeah, that methylate. Listen, what are we about 2 months? Maybe not even that long till we're throwing the methylate and the bubblegum trick worms. They're gonna start hitting them soon. Cinco ain't going nowhere because it becomes synonymous with bass fishing. You literally can't talk bass fishing without bringing it up. I agree with that. Depends on the depth and the clarity of the water, sure. But a Cinco is also something that you can give, like a rookie can throw it, or your most seasoned pro will throw it. This is one of the reasons. Like I'll teach young kids how to throw a wacky because it's got an exposed hook. It's easy to get them hooked up, but you use a Cinco. I forgot the Wacky King ain't going to disagree with a Cinco at number one. I'm not going to. The question is, what color is methylate to a bass? I get it. I don't know. What does a bass see when he sees methylate? What does he see? Um, I don't know. Brandon Owens. If I had one bait, a white and chartreuse Picasso spinner bait, year round for me, they catch fish when nothing else will. Does it have to be a Picasso? No, I'm kidding. Great company. I agree with you. Like, yeah, if you could only pick one bait for the rest of your life to catch bass, smallmouth, largemouth, spots, what would it be? Mine would be a Cinco. And I can tell you the color. It'd be a green pumpkin Cinco. A green pumpkin Cinco will catch fish in Washington State. It'll catch fish in Florida. It'll catch smallmouth up north. It'll catch bass in California, and it certainly catches fish in the Southeast. Are there just as good options? Yes. But for me, confidence wise, that's what I would get. It could be red. I don't know. Um, Jeff says, I'm 52 years old. It would take me 3 or 4 hours to come up with the top 10 of all time. I've seen and used a ton of baits in his lifetime. Zoom makes a flute color called flesh, and surprisingly, it looks very natural, similar to shad in slightly stained water. Interesting. I mean, one bait of all time, that's it. Uh, top 5 bait companies tomorrow, Danny. Okay, we can do that. We'll do that. Shaky head with a Cinco with the Elder's Magic Yum Dinger. Elder's Magic, if you guys don't know, Elder's Magic it's one of those colors, if you know, you know. Now, Yum puts out a Yum Dinger Cinco in Elder's Magic. And the guys on Lanier, they wouldn't talk about it. They bought that. As soon as I got it, I would call these same 5 guys. I got some Elder's Magic in, and they would all come wipe it out. If you don't know, look up. I mean, there's several companies make it, but look up Yum, pull up Yum, look up a Yum Dinger and Elder's Magic. That is a spotted bass catching bait. Picasso has to be in there. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a great company. I get it. Yeah, y'all know Shaky Head wasn't on that list, right? Shaky Head with a Cinco with Elder's Magic. That's it. Yum Dinger. Can't go wrong with that. Uh, Georgia's not a red or blue state. We are a green pumpkin state. 100%. Kitech 3.8 will catch fish everywhere. Sure. Look, Messick's telling me to shut up about that Elder's Magic. Listen, can't do it, Messick. Like, you're in South Carolina. There ain't but a handful of you guys listening to me. But Elder's Magic on Lake Lanier, Lake Allatoona, Carter's Lake, and get on up into Notley and Chatuge. And all these little farm ponds around here are your electric only reservoirs. If you're above Atlanta, and I'm sure it works like hell below Atlanta, but if you're above Atlanta, try an Elder's Magic Cinco on a shaky head. Yum Dinger. I'm just telling you, that is a damn good bait color. Is it my favorite? No. Zoom makes a mag finesse worm, shaky head worm. And it's purple something, and I forget. But I got my hands on some of those about 4 months ago, and I got to get some more. And everywhere I've thrown that bait, from Blue Ridge to across the street here at Latham to Lanier, boom, it is purple on the top, and it's got a clear looking laminate greenish color on the bottom. And I forget the exact name of the color. But if you look it up, I'll tell you guys more. I'll find it. But that color right there, specifically, the only color I've thrown it in is the Zoom Mag shaky head worm. Nico it, you'll catch fish. Are you gonna win tournaments on it? I can't guarantee that. Hell, nobody can do that shit. Y'all always mention purple and green. Well, I found the best one. Listen, when I tie jigs, there's 2 colors. I know I got a Farmer's right here. There's 2 colors that I sell the most of, and I got like 30 more jigs to tie today. You guys have seen me show it on the live well, but that is, let me get it right. That is Farmer's, and it's not been trimmed. It is green pumpkin with little light tones on the bottom. Let me see if I can get it to. Okay. That's number 1. Well, that's not number 1, it's number 2. Well, I don't know, it might be number 1 now. That color, and this one farmer come up with, it don't have any purple, but it had the green pumpkin. But this one right here, that's the one. It's that green pumpkin barbed wire with that purple. I sell the ever-loving daylights out of that color. I mean, seriously, like I've got 20 of them right here. I've got another, probably, damn dogs. I probably got another 30 to tie today of just, I know I've got to tie about 15 farmers, and I know I got about 30 of that cheat code. But purple is and I always say purple's a spotted bass color, but that jig right there, there's a couple of guys in the electric only world that I tie that jig for. Let me get it back out. On Lake Lanier, and they fish in January and February. That right there is put 20 plus pounds in the boat on Lanier. And again, like I said, I got to trim it up, but you can kind of see the colors. You can kind of see the colors I'm talking about, the green pumpkin and the purple and all that. That jig right there has put 20 plus pounds in a boat several times over the last couple of years in electric only tournaments. You sell more jigs in green pumpkin orange or green pumpkin purple? Green pumpkin purple. Not even close. So let's see. Y'all always mention, yeah, I saw that. It's a largemouth color. That's what I was getting ready to say. Both of those the tournaments that were won had kicker largemouths over 7 pounds. And they were caught on that jig. So it's not so. There's something about purple. Again, don't know what it looks like to bass. Probably not the shade of purple that we see, I'm sure, because green pumpkin doesn't look green pumpkin to bass either. In fact, if you pull up some of those videos on YouTube where they put the shades to do whatever, green pumpkin looks a little more brownish than it does green. Very natural color. But it is the only two, it's like jewelry shopping, listen at you. The only two colors I throw anymore. They work. I think now, if we get to when we're talking about like one bait for the rest of your life and colors and all that stuff, we definitely can overthink it, right? I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Let's take a plastic worm, Cinco nut, just plastic worm. You could, in theory, have a green pumpkin or watermelon style color, greenish color, black, and then maybe you can go with one crazy color like the methylate or something. But you could take those three color worms, green pumpkin, a black, and your wild card worm, and you could fish year round and catch fish. You could take topwater. You could take a chrome and a white or in a bone. I mean, just three colors, and you could catch topwater fish. Buzzbait, you can go white or black and catch topwater. Spinnerbait, you can go white. In summertime, you can go black. I mean, we have these 52 billion colors of options, and you guys hear me say it all the time. There are baits to catch bass, and the other 99% are to catch you and me, and it works. And then we get a confidence in them, right? I caught them on that shower blow in X color, and that's the one you're going to throw, or that stunner jerk bait in this color, or that. Take a rock crawler. I'm a oh shit, red bug. All the rock crawler colors catch it, but I'm a red bug guy. We get focused in on the colors we got confidence on. But if we really wanted to break it down, you only need a couple colors, and they could be bland and basic as hell. Look at a bone topwater. Catches fish. Black plastic worm catches fish. Straight green pumpkin Cinco catches fish. White spinnerbait catches fish. We'd like to do and add all these other colors, but at the end of the day, you could go basic and be just fine. Kind of like what Tim White said earlier. You got 800 baits or whatever, 30. He only throws 10 for sure. Mike messaged me after the show on Facebook. Green pumpkin is the new kid on the block. Purple and black are the OGs for worms. Green pumpkin is, and I think ain't the story that green pumpkin was an accident. I want to say I've heard that. I can't verify that, but you remember we talked about it last week. Pumpkin seed, like in the '80s, it was pumpkin seed and all that, and then all of a sudden green pumpkin came out. I've caught more bass over 5 pound this year on those two jigs than any other bait or last year. Gold blades on a spinnerbait and gold rattle traps when it's cloudy. And that can work, but you don't have to make it like if you took every bait on that list we just popped off. Honestly, think about this. If you put all the soft plastics as green pumpkin or black, if you put all the spinnerbaits, chatterbaits, whatever like that as white, and if you put all the other hard baits and all that as say either a shad color or red or something, you honestly really could catch fish year round on that and probably do quite well. Should do a lunch break show on the biggest fish you lost that still haunts you. A blue and chrome Sammy is really good. Sammy's a bait that didn't come on it. I could fit everything I really need in a brown lunch bag, but it just wouldn't be as much fun. No, it wouldn't. But you're absolutely right. Yes, green pumpkin was an accident, a mix of pumpkin seed and green. That's what I thought I heard. You're right. No, tomorrow somebody mentioned it. We can kind of do a couple of things. Let me read Robert's comment. Color they see in high levels of water depends on the clarity. They see with the skylight into the water. Color becomes shades of gray. Red is a color that still is seen in lower depths than any other color. I've heard, Robert, and I don't know this to be true, but I've heard it from multiple and I've read it multiple places that the only color a bass sees exactly the way a human being sees it is June bug. Is that true? I don't know, but you get that where there's smoke, there's fire. I've read that, I've heard that, I've seen videos on that. That June bug is the only color that a bass sees exactly the way a human being sees it, which why it's a popular color year round. I don't know that to be true. I'll have to next bass I catch, I'll ask him. I'll get his thoughts. What do you guys think about June bug? Um, but studies have been done. Yeah, we need to study that a little bit more. But I do think, Robert, you would agree. I think you'd agree though that you could, if you had to, if shit hit the fan and you had to feed your family on just fishing, you could get away with a few basic baits and colors and do that just fine, right? You know what I'm saying? You could do that. Kayak episode was not yesterday. The kayak episodes have moved to Wednesday night because it's easier for Alex's work schedule for him to get home. So there'll be no more Monday night kayak nights. They'll all be on Wednesday. A spinning rod and a shirt pocket of lures. You could. You could. All right, guys, we've gone for a while there. It's good to get back. So tonight, again on the live well, we've got okay, let me read these two. Let me read these two comments first. Farmer says there's a video on YouTube that shows the way bass see color. They can't see blue; it looks black. Yeah, there's a few of those on there. Go check them out today. We can talk about it more. The OG of almost 58 years. Fish will eat. Yeah. Color. Blue retains its color deeper than red. Red changes to brown in just a few feet or less of water, depending on the clarity of the water. Jitterbug over a jig. Ricardo said, yeah, I know, right, dude? I didn't make the list. Um, you guys should all email the guys over at fishmaster.com and say, listen, Pruitt didn't like your list. Pardon watermelon and pumpkin. Watermelon and pumpkin were the original colors that made green pumpkin. Watermelon and pumpkin. Okay. Tonight on the live well, Marshall Stamps of Georgia Bassmaster is going to be on. You guys join us for that. Guys, he's been freaking smashing bass on 9 and 11-inch glide baits. Big largemouth, but we'll talk other stuff as well. If you're not into the glide game, we'll talk about that as well. But it's going to be some good conversation. Cotton candy, I know a lot of guys like that color. Yeah. If I had to pick one crazy color, let's just say one color that is not a standard. Take out your morning dawns. Take out a color that gets overlooked. And I'll tell you guys this, and just because I fish with them, Zoom makes a trick worm, and the color is ghost herring. Ghost herring. Put it on a Nico. Put it on a shaky head. You'll catch fish. You can do it whack. You can catch fish. But if you will bite about a third, so a little over a third of that trick worm off, and you're a drop shotter, pop that puppy on there. You can thank me later. You really can thank me later. Ghost herring is a color that Zoom makes that is just extremely overlooked here in the South. But anyway, you guys, hey, y'all get to rolling, get back to work. I probably could talk to you guys all day, but your bosses wouldn't like it. So I'll see you guys tonight at 8. Again, Marshall Stamps will be there. Clint will be there. Tony will be there. We'll have a good time. There's no football games. You guys got nothing better to do. So you need to watch us tonight. So Bourbon Blaze is awesome. Match the hats. Baiting areas, match the colors. For sure. Jeff's looking forward to tonight. He likes them big glides like I do. Hey, listen, I'm not into the glide game, but I might be. I might be soon. But again, excellent conversation today. Tomorrow, we might do the top. Tomorrow, let's go ahead and do our topic for tomorrow. We'll talk about the best bait companies or our favorite bait companies. That will be a good conversation too. So you guys be good. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go work on my John boat. I got to get it ready. I got a tournament in 2.5 weeks. So I got